All right. Ready for a deep dive?
Always.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because we're going to go where, I don't know, not many podcasts dare, I guess.
Sounds intriguing.
We're going into death and the
Yeah.
afterlife.
Big topics.
Yeah. And we're going to use the law of one to kind of guide us through.
That's a fascinating lens to look at it through.
Yeah. So have you ever wondered, like, what really happens
Yeah.
when we die?
Absolutely. A question for the ages.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we just, like, stop existing or is there, like, something
The
more?
great mystery.
Yeah, the great mystery, right. And so we're going to use the law of one today to kind of explore that and see what it says.
Yeah, what kind of insights it
Yeah,
offers. Yeah.
yeah. So for those who are unfamiliar, maybe the law of one is this body of channeled teachings.
Right.
It claims to come from this entity named Ra.
Uh-huh.
They say that they're a sixth density being, which is like a super evolved
Cosmic consciousness.
cosmic consciousness. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. It's like beyond our comprehension
Yes,
almost.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to wrap our minds around.
Right.
But the central message, though, of the law of one is pretty simple. All is one.
Right.
Everything is interconnected, part of like this grand unified consciousness.
And that's what makes it so relevant to our topic today, right? Because if everything's connected,
Yeah.
then death can't be just the end.
Right, right.
It has to be part of something larger.
Yeah. And so that's kind of what we're going to be looking at. And one of the things that the law of one talks about that I think is super interesting and relevant to this to death and the afterlife is this idea of densities.
Right.
Yeah.
Densities, these are levels of spiritual evolution, kind of like different vibrational frequencies.
Okay. So like imagine them like tiers in this giant cosmic library, each filled with different
here it is.
experiences and levels of understanding.
Yeah, different ways of perceiving reality.
Right. Okay. So, and Earth, according to Ra, is currently transitioning from third to fourth density.
Right. Which is, I think, why so many people are feeling this kind of shift, this unease, this uncertainty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like we're on the cusp of something big.
We're in the midst of a cosmic upgrade, you could say.
Yeah, yeah. Cosmic upgrade. I like that.
And this transition is, well, it's really tied to how we understand death.
Okay.
The law of one suggests that death isn't about ceasing to exist,
Okay.
but moving through these densities.
So not like a full stop, but more like
A comma,
a comma.
a pause
Okay.
before the next chapter unfolds.
Yeah.
It's like graduating to a higher grade, but instead of classrooms, we're talking about different planes of existence. And the law of one, it delves into what these planes might be like, how our consciousness evolves through them, and how our actions in this life influence that journey.
So they're saying that this life, like our experiences here, matter in a way that extends beyond just
This physical reality.
physical reality. Yeah, that's pretty intense.
It is. It makes you think about the implications.
Right, the long game.
The long game, yeah. What we're really working towards.
Yeah. So we've got these densities, these cosmic classrooms. But what about the actual process of death?
Mhm.
What does the law of one say happens when we take our final breath here?
Okay, so the law of one talks about something called the mind-body-spirit complex,
Okay.
which is essentially the blueprint of our being.
So like a multi-layered energy field.
Yes, exactly. And when the physical body dies, this complex, it continues on.
It's not bound by physical limitations anymore.
Right. It's free from those constraints.
So physical body's like kind of like a temporary vehicle,
Yeah.
a spacesuit for this cosmic adventure.
I love that analogy, a spacesuit. And once that spacesuit is no longer needed, the real journey begins. The law of one suggests that after death, this mind-body-spirit complex goes through a process of transitioning, shedding layers of energy, and ultimately moving toward a state of awareness that resonates with its unique journey.
Okay, so we shed the spacesuit, and then what? Do we just float around in a cosmic void?
Not quite. There's structure. The law of one describes different planes of existence within each density.
Okay, so it's not just one big afterlife waiting room.
No, not at all. It's much more dynamic than that. Think of it like different floors in this giant cosmic library we were talking about.
Okay, I like that. Each floor offering a unique experience and level of understanding. So it's not just one big homogeneous afterlife. There's structure and levels, different experiences based on what exactly?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. The law of one suggests that the path our mind-body-spirit complex takes through these planes is influenced by a few things,
Okay.
primarily something called polarity.
Polarity. So like a cosmic magnet, which way do we swing?
Exactly. The Law of One talks about two main polarities: service to others and service to self.
Okay.
And it's not about good versus bad, but about the fundamental orientation of our actions and intentions.
So are they saying that the choices we make in this life, whether we lean towards compassion or selfishness, that actually determines the path we take after death?
That's a key point, and it leads us to one of the most intriguing aspects of the Law of One: the concept of harvest.
Okay, harvest sounds kind of ominous,
Yeah, I can see why you'd say that.
like we're all crops out in some cosmic field waiting to be judged.
Well, the Law of One, it doesn't really use the word judgment in that way. Think of harvest more like a natural sorting process,
Mhm.
like separating ripe fruit from unripe.
Okay.
It's about alignment, reaching a certain level of spiritual growth that resonates with a particular density.
So it's not about being good or bad,
Yeah.
but about how our energy, our choices, our essence aligns with these cosmic levels.
Precisely. And the Law of One suggests that this harvest, it happens at the end of a major cycle,
Oh.
kind of like the end of a semester. Okay.
In our cosmic classroom analogy.
Oh, so final exams are coming.
You could say that.
Okay, but what does this actually mean, like for us in practical terms?
Well, according to the law of one, those who have leaned more towards service to others who've really cultivated compassion and understanding, they're more likely to resonate with the higher vibrations of fourth density.
So it's not about following some strict set of rules or dogmas, but about genuinely living a life that's aligned with love and compassion. That's actually pretty hopeful.
It is. It really is. But what about those who haven't quite reached that level of service to others yet? The law of one suggests they might need more time to learn and grow, maybe by repeating another cycle in third density,
Oh,
perhaps even on a different planet.
wait, so reincarnation's a part of this whole thing.
That's what the law of one suggests.
We might get another shot at this cosmic classroom.
It's not about punishment. It's about being in the most appropriate environment for continued growth.
Think of it like getting extra credit, another opportunity to really master the material before moving on to the next grade.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all this kind of fits together.
Yeah.
But it also makes me wonder, if our choices in this life have such a huge impact on our soul's journey, what can we do now to prepare for this transition?
The Law of One, it emphasizes the importance of seeking,
Okay.
actively engaging in things that cultivate love, wisdom, and understanding.
Okay.
It's not about passively waiting for enlightenment to just strike, but about making conscious choices that align with our chosen polarity.
So it's about actively becoming the best version of ourselves, both for this life and whatever lies beyond.
Exactly. And this can involve a lot of different things: meditation, acts of service, forgiveness. Honestly, even just trying to be more aware of our thoughts and actions. It's about aligning ourselves with that fundamental truth that all is one.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack. But before we get too overwhelmed, I want to go back to this idea of the afterlife experience itself. What does the law of one say about what happens in those moments right after we transition? Is it like a sudden shift or more of a gradual process?
It's described more as a gradual awakening, like emerging from a deep sleep. Imagine waking from a dream. You know that hazy feeling as the veil between sleeping and waking? It's Norham.
Okay, so it's not like snapping your fingers and boom, you're in a completely different place.
Right. It's more about layers of awareness gently shifting. And as we move through those layers, the Law of One suggests we might encounter the astral plane,
Yeah, okay.
which is kind of like a transitional space between the physical world and the realms beyond.
The astral plane. It's always sounded a bit mysterious to me. What's it like? What happens there?
Think of it as a realm of pure thought and emotion, a place where the limitations of the physical body no longer apply. It's
Right.
where the mind-body-spirit complex starts to really process the experiences of the physical life,
Wow.
to shed heavier energies, to reflect.
So like a cosmic decompression chamber, a chance to catch our breath and make sense of things.
I like that. That's a great way to put it. And according to the Law of One, it's also where the life review often takes place.
Oh yeah, the like review. That's the part that always makes me a little nervous. Is it like a cosmic judgment day? Are we forced to relive every embarrassing moment of our lives?
The Law of One emphasizes that it's not about judgment, but understanding. It's a chance to see the impact of our choices,
Hmm.
how they rippled out and affected not only our journey, but the journeys of others.
So it's less about feeling ashamed and more about gaining a deeper understanding of our actions.
Exactly. The Law of One describes the life review as a chance for profound self-awareness, to see the patterns and themes that played out in our lives, and to make conscious choices about the direction of our soul's journey.
Okay, so we've gone through the transition, we've processed our experiences, we've reviewed our lives. What happens next? Where do we go from the astral plane?
The Law of One suggests the journey continues. There are many more layers to uncover, different planes of existence within each density. It's like a cosmic staircase,
All right.
each step leading to a greater understanding of the interconnectedness of all things.
So it's not just one big afterlife party. There's still structure and movement, a sense of purpose and
That's
direction.
right. The Law of One paints this picture of continuous growth and evolution even beyond the physical plane. And the path we take through these planes is influenced in part by our chosen polarity. Remember service to others versus service to self.
Right, like a cosmic compass,
Yes,
guiding us toward experiences that resonate with our deepest nature.
exactly. And for those who've cultivated a strong orientation towards service to others, who've chosen love and compassion, the Law of One suggests that fourth density might be the next step in their journey.
Okay, fourth density.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before, but can you give us a picture of what it might actually be like? What kind of experiences await us in that realm?
Fourth density is described as a realm of heightened awareness and understanding. It's where love and compassion are not just ideals, but lived realities. Think of it as a vibration, a frequency of being where harmony and unity are the norm.
Though like a more evolved version of Earth, where people are more connected to each other and to the universe as a whole.
That's a good way to visualize it. The Law of One suggests that fourth density beings experience a deeper sense of interconnectedness, a greater awareness of the unity that underlies all of creation.
Sounds pretty amazing. But is it all rainbows and butterflies? Are there still challenges and lessons to be learned in fourth density?
The Law of One suggests that growth and evolution never really end. Even in fourth density, there are opportunities for learning and service. It's just that the challenges and the lessons take on a different form.
Okay.
They might involve refining our understanding of unity and compassion, or working to help those who are still on the path to fourth density.
So it's less about personal struggles and more about contributing to the greater good, kind of like a cosmic volunteer program.
That's a good way to think about it. And the Law of One suggests that the experiences we have in fourth density, they further refine our understanding of unity and prepare us for even higher levels of consciousness.
Okay, so the journey continues. But let's backtrack for a moment. We've talked about fourth density as a potential destination for those who've leaned towards service to others. What about those who haven't quite made the cut for fourth density yet? What happens to them?
The Law of One suggests that those who haven't yet achieved the necessary polarity for fourth density might repeat another cycle in third density.
Okay.
It's not about punishment, but about giving them the opportunity to continue learning and growing until they're ready for that next step.
So it's like being held back a grade,
Mm.
but on a cosmic scale. You get another chance to master the material before moving on.
That's a good analogy. The Law of One emphasizes that there's no judgment in this process, only the natural consequences of choices made. It's about providing souls with the experiences they need to continue their journey toward the Creator.
Okay, that makes sense. But with all this talk of densities and planes, I'm curious about the role of our higher selves in the afterlife. We've talked about them guiding us during our physical lives. But what about their role in the realms beyond?
The Law of One suggests that our higher selves continue to be an integral part of our journey, even after death. Think of them as a wise and loving mentor
Hmm.
who's always there to offer guidance and support, even when we're not consciously aware of it.
So they don't just abandon us once we cross over. They're still there, helping us navigate the afterlife.
Absolutely. The Law of One describes the higher self as a more evolved aspect of ourselves, a source of wisdom and understanding that transcends the limitations of our physical incarnation. They're constantly working to align us with our soul's purpose and help us learn the lessons we've chosen to learn.
Okay, so even in the afterlife, we have our higher selves to guide us. But what about other forms of support? Are there any other beings who might assist us in this transition?
The Law of One describes a whole host of beings who offer guidance and support to souls in the afterlife. They talk about guides, teachers, loved ones who have passed on, all working together to help us acclimate to these new realms of experience.
Wow, that's a comforting thought. It's
Yeah.
like we have a whole cosmic welcoming committee to greet us on the other side.
Exactly. The Law of One emphasizes that we are never truly alone, and that love and compassion are woven into the very fabric of the universe. Even in the face of death, we are surrounded by a network of support and guidance.
Okay, I'm starting to feel a real sense of peace and reassurance in all of this. It's so easy to get caught up in the fear and uncertainty surrounding death. But the Law of One offers a perspective that's both enlightening and comforting.
I agree. It's a perspective that invites us to see death not as an ending, but as a transition, a doorway to new experiences and a greater understanding.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've explored the nature of the soul's journey, the process of death and transition, and this idea of densities and planes of
We've just
existence.
scratched the surface.
Yeah, there's still so much more to uncover. In our next and final part, I want to delve into some of the specific details of the afterlife experience. What happens during the life review? What are the different planes of existence actually like? And what can we expect when we finally transition from this physical reality? Okay, Cosmic Explorers, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the law of one's perspective on death and the afterlife.
I'm excited to see where we go next.
Me too.
Eh?
This is where things get really intriguing. We've talked about the transition, the astral plane, the life review. But what happens after that? Like, what does the law of one say about the actual experience of those different planes of existence?
Well, it's important to remember that the Law of One emphasizes that these realms are very fluid. They're
Okay.
not like these rigid boxes, but states of consciousness vibrations that our mind-body-spirit complex resonates with based on our evolution.
So less about physical locations and more about the frequency we're vibrating at, like tuning into different radio stations.
That's a great analogy. The clearer our signal, the more we've aligned with love and understanding, the higher the frequency we can tune into.
Okay, so let's tune into that fourth density frequency for a moment. We've touched on it before, but I'm curious to really get into what it might be like to experience that realm.
Okay. The Law of One describes fourth density as a realm of profound unity and understanding. Imagine a world where compassion isn't just an ideal, but the very air you breathe.
So like Earth, but with a major upgrade in empathy and connection.
Exactly. The Law of One suggests that fourth density beings experience this level of telepathic connection, a knowing of each other's thoughts and feelings that goes way beyond our limited forms of communication here.
Whoa, no more misunderstandings or misinterpretations. Everyone's on the same wavelength, literally.
Right. And the Law of One also indicates that fourth density is a realm of light, literally and figuratively.
Oh.
They describe it as a place where physical forms are less dense, more luminous. Imagine a world bathed in this soft golden light where everything just vibrates with peace and harmony.
Okay, now I'm really starting to get a sense of what this shift in consciousness might actually feel like. But is it all just bliss and light shows, or are there still challenges and opportunities for growth in fourth density?
Well, the Law of One suggests that evolution never truly ends, even in fourth density. There are lessons to be learned and service to be offered, but the nature of those challenges shifts.
Oh,
Imagine working on a collective level to help raise the consciousness of those still in third density, contributing to the overall harmony of the universe.
so less about personal struggles and more about contributing to the greater good, kind of like a cosmic volunteer program.
That's a good way to think about it. And the Law of One suggests that the experiences we have in fourth density, they further refine our understanding of unity and prepare us for even higher levels of consciousness.
Okay, so the journey continues. But let's backtrack for a moment. We've talked about fourth density as a potential destination for those who've leaned towards service to others. What about those who haven't quite reached that level yet? What happens to them after the transition and the life review?
The Law of One suggests that those souls might need another cycle in third density to continue their learning and growing. They might reincarnate on Earth or perhaps another planet that offers the experiences they need to evolve.
So it's not a one-shot deal. We might get multiple chances to get things right to learn the lessons we need to learn before moving on to that higher frequency.
Exactly. It's about providing the soul with the most appropriate environment for its continued evolution. And the Law of One emphasizes that there's no judgment in this process. It's simply a matter of aligning with the right frequency, the right level of consciousness for our next step.
Okay, I'm starting to see the beauty and the compassion in this framework. It's not about punishment or reward, but about this ongoing journey of growth and expansion.
Exactly. The Law of One offers a perspective that encourages us to see beyond the limitations of our current understanding, to embrace the vastness and the mystery of the universe, and to trust in the process of evolution.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We've explored the intricacies of death and the afterlife, the concept of densities, and the idea that our choices and actions have this impact that reaches far beyond this physical reality. We've also learned that death is not the end, but a transition, a doorway to new experiences, and a continuation of our soul's journey.
And perhaps most importantly, we've been reminded that we are all interconnected, part of this grand unified consciousness. The Law of One invites us to see that spark of the Creator in ourselves and in each other, to live our lives with love and compassion, and to embrace this journey of evolution with courage and wonder.
So to our listeners, as we wrap up this deep dive, we invite you to continue exploring these concepts, delve deeper into the Law of One, and see what resonates with you. And remember,
Yeah.
the journey doesn't end here. It continues unfolding with every breath, every choice, every moment of awareness. Safe travels, fellow seekers.